You worry about the most. Welcome again to another episode of JV Matters. I'm your host, Coach Lowry. This is for all the coaches, parents, players, and anyone who knows that high school football isn't just about Friday night lights. Today we'll touch a little bit on about players that you worry the most as a coach. So let's get started. One of the things nobody ever tells you when you become a head coach or when you become a JV coach is this: the players you worry about the most are not always the best players. They're not always the starters. They're not always the kids making the big plays on Thursday night. Sometimes the players you worry about the most are the ones standing at the crossroads. They're the kids with the talent but no discipline. They're the kids with all the potential but no confidence. They're the kids who keeps making the same mistake over and over. The kid who is one good decision or bad decision away from changing the direction of his life forever. We all have had or currently have that player on our roster. This is the player that keeps you awake at night. Those are the players that stay on a coach's mind, because you can see what they can become just by watching them play, watching how they practice. You can see all the potential, wishing that you had that potential when you were his age. Sometimes more clearly than they can see. JV coaches, or I should say JV players, don't always see the potential they may have. They have yet to have that aha moment. So you as a coach, you're trying to get that moment out of them. You're trying to get that aha moment for them, the light bulb to go off in their head. Like, wow, I get it now, coach. And you'll get it. You have it every year. You have that one or two players or a handful of players that like, wow, I get it, coach. I understand what you're talking about. That's one of the most frustrating parts of coaching. You see the potential, you see the opportunity, you see the future that could be better if they would just simply buy in. Just buy what the coach is selling. But coaches can't make the decision for the players. As a coach, we can teach them. We can encourage them all day long. And we can even hold them accountable for the things that they're trying to do. We can believe in them. We can even love them to death. Okay? But eventually the player has to decide on their own what direction or what they want to do when they want to go, or what direction they want to go. How bad do they want to play this game? So one of my biggest things that I tell coaches, or not the coaches, I'm sorry, the players, is you have to want it more than the coaches do. If you don't, you're going to have a hard time in this game. I currently have one player I see, and I probably have a couple others actually, but I see this one particular player. I see the potential in him, his ability, and I think he is starting to see it in himself as well. He knows how much I believe in him. Now he has to run with it. He has to be able to see it more in himself. And I think he's starting to see it. I think he's starting to catch on. Every JV coach has had that player. The one who has all the tools, the one who should be succeeding, the one who should be leading, but for one reason or another, he keeps getting in his own way. We all have that player. I currently have a couple of those players right now during summer camp that seem to have all the talent but are struggling to get out of their own way. I believe they are lacking the confidence. So as a coach, it is my job to instill the confidence in them. As your job, it's to instill the confidence in them and get them over those hurdles. So maybe it's their laziness. Some of them are lazy. Don't get me wrong. We all see that. Maybe it's some of their poor choices, and they do make poor choices. Lack of confidence. We need to help build their confidence. Maybe it's a refusal to accept coaching. That one's a hard one to get over, but eventually they'll get it. Whatever the reason, those players are difficult to watch. Not because they're bad kids. Usually it's the opposite. You see what they're capable of becoming, and that's what makes it hard. Then there are those players who surprise you. The players who are not very talented, players who are not the fastest, players who are not the strongest, but they keep showing up day after day. They keep working. They keep improving day after day. And they are getting better with each passing day. And little by little, they become your leaders. Not because of talent, but because of commitment. I had a kid last year. He started off slow. By the end of the season, he was one of my starters. Someone who I could rely on, someone who I trusted in any situation. Those are the players who remind coaches of an important lesson. Potential means nothing without action. Football is full of talent. You see it all the time. I see talent on my team right now. Lots of talent. Players who never, but football is also full of talent of players who never reach their potential. They just somehow never buy into what the coach is selling. It's also full of average athletes who exceed expectations because they are willing to put in the work. So never count players out, because one day that light bulb's going to go off above their head. You're going to see it. They're just going to give you that, aha, I got it, coach. And just all of a sudden, bam, they're going to take off. I know this year has just started, and we are just in the summer workouts, but I can already see two different types of players on my team. Ones that have the great, that are starting off great, and then some that are starting off slow. The ones that have the great talent that are they're going to struggle in that area because they're not willing to put forth that effort that you want. So you just got to push that for them. You got to push that out there for them. That's one of the greatest lessons JV coaches teaches. Talent opens up doors, but character determines how far you're going to go once that door opens up. As a coach, we spend a lot of times worrying about our players more than people realize. We worry about their grades, their effort, their attitude, their choices, their future, even their home life. I am always talking to my players, asking them about things. How are their grades? How's school? How's their home life? How's whatever? I am always talking to my players. Not because it's our job. It's not in our job description. You look at your coaching description, it doesn't say that anywhere in there. But because we care, that's why we do it. If we didn't care, we wouldn't do this job. We would, I'm out of here type of deal. That's the reality of coaching. The players become more than just names on a roster. You invest time in them, energy in them. Sometimes a little piece of your heart goes with them as well. And when they graduate high school, a piece of you goes with them as well, because you stuck with them even while they were on varsity. You were with them. You never let them know they were alone. You stuck with them through the hard times as well. You encouraged them. Even at varsity, some of them will tell you, Coach, this is tough. I'm having a tough time. But you were there for them. You let them know. Years later, most coaches won't remember every score. They won't remember every practice. You probably won't remember every play. But you'll remember certain players. The ones who finally figured it out, that had that aha moment. The ones who overcame adversity. The ones who grew into young men you hope they would become. And they'll remember the players who never quit, who never quite got there. So they're going to remember those two as well. The players that still think about that, they'll think about the players from time to time, wondering what might have been if they had bought into it. That's part of JV coaching's reality, because coaching isn't just about developing football players. It's about caring enough to worry about those players ahead, or where they're headed for after football. Because once football's over, they're done. A lot of these players, when high school football is over, they're done. They're not going to put on the uniform again. Most of these high school seniors, when they put on that uniform this year, it'll be the last time they put on that uniform. So in closing, the longer I coach, the more I realize this. The players who keep you awake at night usually aren't the ones making all the plays. They're the ones standing at the crossroads with all the potential and still not sure how to use it, or have not bought into what the coaches are selling. And sometimes the biggest victory a coach ever gets or witnesses has nothing to do with football at all. Thanks again for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please share with family and friends. Hit the like button and subscribe below. Thanks again. You all have an outstanding day. I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.